Good morning. This is Angela with a cup of tea on Thursday, September 22nd, 2011. So, where to start on this topic? There is so much I can cover on this. More and more, I have people coming to me, because they're starting to awaken. They're starting to really feel that pull in their heart going, yeah, there's more to this. There's more to what we want to explore with our lives, with our spirituality. And one of the first concerns that everyone has is, well, either I was brought up in a traditional religious household, or I have a traditional religious household of some sort, and my husband or my wife, my family, they don't understand what I want to do. They don't understand where I'm coming from, or I'm afraid to bring this up to them because, this is really not along the path of what we practice. And so I said, you know what, that's okay. And the second thing is, as things happen, and I'll say, this happened to me when I fell open like a book in 2009, and I spent an entire year and a half almost really coming into my own and realizing that it's okay, that it was okay for me to be on this path, and that I actually chose to do that, and that was one of my life's purposes, and to do this kind of stuff. It took me a long road because it was, 10 years ago, if somebody would have shown me a window to today of what I was doing, I would think they were nuts. I would have told them they were on drugs, or I must have been on drugs when I was looking in that window because there was nothing I ever aspired to do. So, life takes turns, and we find our path, and it doesn't matter whether we're 20 or 40 or 60 or 80 or 100. If we find our path that is going to, bring us to our personal legend, that's going to make us our happiest and bring us to our highest and best path, well, only good can come from that. Really, only good can come from that. And that's what I tell people. So, it goes back to that quote that I always talk about on, like, if, it's none of your business what other people think of you, because it's really their issues. What they think of you are their issues to begin with. So if they have any negative perspective on what you're doing or how you're acting, that's their issue to deal with. And that's okay too. But that shouldn't prevent you from moving forward. So there are many roles that we play, and there are many experiences that we signed up to do in this lifetime and to have. And so a lot of times what happens is that we get into a role where we're giving ourselves to others, and we're not doing to give to ourselves. So think about that, and sometimes people sort of get shocked when I say, what's most important is to make you happy. It really doesn't matter about anything else. And they're like, well, what do you mean? What about my kids and my husband, my wife, my parents, my whatever? And I'm like, no, you know what? If you are fully happy and you stand in your own two shoes and you love yourself beyond belief, guess what? Your light is going to shine so bright, and everything you do to feed that is going to make your light shine even brighter. So how can anybody who truly loves you not want you to have your light shining brighter? Now, again, we go back to these experiences of a parasitic kind of relationship, and that happens so many times where people come to me and they're going, well, I've been doing this for a number of years. I stayed home with my kids for a number of years, and I feel like I've given up myself. And now it's time for me to find myself. And like, you can feel them so depleted, so tired. And what happens is somebody else feeds off of you. You give them your energy, you give them your light, and then you deplete your own. So eventually what happens when you keep on doing that is eventually it's going to die out. So that's what I mean by if somebody really loves you and they want you around and they want you to shine and be a beacon to help them as well reach into their own light, the best thing to do is to grow your own and to be happy with yourself first, above all, and because then you can deal with everything around you so in a much, much different way when you start realizing that we're manifesting this stuff around us because they're the experiences that we wanted to have. And we can have them with trauma, drama, or illness, or we could have them with grace and ease and joy and balance and harmony. And that's our choice. And if that's, whichever way you want is fine. But to me, the grace and ease, I come back to this again and again. The grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy, to me, so much more fun and excitement. That I always add that kind of stuff in. But another thing that tends to happen when somebody first sort of veers off and starts exploring, going on their spiritual journey and exploring themselves to make, to really make their heart and soul sing, is that those in their lives get uncomfortable because then they're coming out of a box that those people have put them because everybody sort of compartmentalizes things. Okay, well, so and so does this, and this is exactly what I can expect from them. And even if it's terrible and annoying and gets you uptight, at least it's a known evil. So what happens is when you start to change, then everybody's sort of a lot of people in your life will sort of get shaky, going, whoa, wait a second, but this is like, I know you like this, and what happens if you change and then it doesn't, then I'm not getting out of it what I need to get from it. Okay, well then guess what? Then it was a parasitic relationship, and it wasn't a fully giving, love-based relationship, and it was more ego-based. So there's so many ways to go in talking about this, but I'm always going to come back to the importance of being comfortable in what you're doing and what you're exploring, because the truth here is that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and not the other way around, which is how many centuries and thousands of years we've really made ourselves think that. And once somebody starts on this path, once you start on this path, then the next question is, well, how do I integrate this with the rest of my life? And then my answer is always, how do you not integrate it with the rest of your life? Because as soon as you realize how to be able to approach things from love, from the universal love standpoint and acceptance, guess what? You're less irritated, you're less irritable, you tend to deal with situations in a much calmer and easy and peaceful way. And you're much more pleasant to be around. So how could somebody not want you to be in your highest and best and come from a place of love? So there are so many things in our life that we allow to drain us. And as we really come into our own spiritually, we realize that that's not for our highest and best. And it goes back to letting the things that don't serve us fall away, because they're going to anyway eventually, whether it's going to be with the trauma or drama or illness, or it's going to be with grace and ease. That's our choice again, but I prefer the easy way, as I always say, the easy button. And sometimes it's hard to look at. Sometimes it's hard to realize that there are things that we have had in our life for many years, for their relationships that we've had in our life for many years, that don't serve us. And it's not that we wouldn't be happy without them, but it's that we think we shouldn't be happy without them, and we're afraid of what it would be like if we were without those relationships. And then there are others that you have and that you pass up for other relationships that might not be as giving and loving for different reasons and different experiential purposes, that they might sort of stay stagnant in the background for a number of years, and then 20, 40, 50 years later, you're done with those other experiences, and then you come back to that relationship of pure love, and it doesn't have to be a matter of, like a romantic relationship. It can be friends, it can be family, and it's amazing that what'll happen is when you are standing in your light, when you're standing in your own and your happiness and love, guess what's going to happen is all those things, even if they haven't been up in your life for 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years, they're going to come back around if they really do serve you. And those things that have been in your life for maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years, they might fall away. And so, but the thing is, how beautiful and awesome will it be if all of us, when all of us get to the point that we are all standing in love and acceptance, and that we are all happy with who we are all reaching our highest and best and making our heart and soul sing. How much more will the whole planet change and our entire humanity change? And this is all part of this evolution we're going through, this spiritual enlightenment, that path to our 2.0. Now the key is just getting through our own individual clearings, our beliefs, our fears, anxieties, resentments, rejections, regrets. Those are the things I bring up again and again. These things we clear out. And you know what happens when you clear it out? You clear out like 99.9% of any physical, emotional, ailment that you have seriously. And that's what a lot of energetic healing has to do with. And then you'll be amazing how much life will be so fantastic and magnificent, so much even more so than today. So on that, I want you to think about that. I want you to start thinking about how comfortable are you in your own shoes, and what do you have around you that is not serving you to be your highest and best, to feed your light and make it brighter. What in your life is actually dimming your light? And that's what you have to really start considering. You need to adjust or change or eliminate and let it fall away. So on that, I'm going to let you go. Have a great weekend. This is Angela with a Cup of Tea.